Ain't nobody tripping, no, you know we getting haters. And we get money to so honey, you don't pay us. If you wanna talk slick, let me show you one way. If you wanna stick, go ahead, it's the one way. I'm so be working, I work it. Your girls gon' show you how. So a catwalk, pose, catwalk, pose, catwalk, pose, 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 catwalk, pose, catwalk, pose, catwalk, pose, pose, pose. I'm so
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Reckless Thoughts, only on the Rip Radio Network. I am your host for the evening, Ty Sid, aka Ty Reckless, obviously, Reckless Thoughts. I am so honored to be in the building with one of my favorite artists, the very first artist that we were profiling on Reckless Thoughts, the show, the Wonder Woman herself. This is Patrice Live.
Thank you
How are you?
so much. That was like an amazing intro. I'm like, you need to give everybody else a little note on how to do an intro. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me.
No, as we'll talk in the course of this hour, and I just want to let everyone know, this isn't your normal topic-based driven show. This show is strictly to showcase the artist, showcase the person who is going to sit down at the table across from me. So we're going to find out exactly who Patrice Live is. We're going to find out as much as we possibly can for the time that we can. But I immediately want to jump in with this very first line that jumped out to me the first time I heard you say it, and you said it really, really emotional. You said, I want to be good at everything I am doing. Who is Patrice Live and what is she doing?
I am Patrice. I am a child of God. I am a daughter, a wife, a mother, a friend, a businesswoman. I am all of these things, and at the end of the day, though, I am human. And to really sum it up, I'm Patrice, and I'm comfortable with that. When I made that statement, it was not that I want to be great at everything, but everything that I am doing. And so everything that I'm doing needs to reflect what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Because if I was trying to be an ice skater and I said I wanted to be good at ice skate, like I can barely ice skate. So that's a waste of time to try to do that.
Right.
But if I know that I'm destined to be a performer, destined to be a wife, a mother, all of these things, then those are the things I want to focus on, and those are the things I want to focus on being great at. And so, yeah.
Those are the rare, this is the thing that is such a rarity in artists these days. So many times artists want to be just out in the forefront and just want to be there and not let anyone in and not be vulnerable. We had a conversation before we came on air where, to me, and this is no disrespect to you at all, but you're such a great artist that you don't belong in the era of digital music. You don't belong in the era of all of this quick fix, of a one shot 20,000 downloads and that's it. You don't belong in that era. I told you earlier, your album reminds me of What's the 411. So, and not saying in terms of content or how it was, but in fact that it was an album, and the fact that it was something that you can listen to over and over again. That as a guy, I can feel comfortable bobbing my head the catwalk, you know, and I can because I know what I want my woman to do.
Yes,
and,
right.
You know, and so was that a thing for you when you wanted to create the album? Was it a thing where you wanted to have that feel?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I grew up learning the Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Boyz II Men, Mary J. Blige, Brandy. So, you know, for some people they would say, well, it's 2015, you need to stay away from, you know, artists like that and try to do something new. My thought is, for every person that has done something different or succeeded, they've always done what they wanted to do, because by the time they made it, music had changed anyway. So you may as well do what you do and do it well if you work hard enough, you know, if you have the right, you know, support. Like, people will come around. I mean, because even now people listen to what they consider oldies. Even a lot of music now, what a lot of younger people don't realize, like a lot of that stuff, the samples thing, like these are samples of older songs. So I told, instead of getting boxed in and saying, well, I'll just do what's new and do all the trap beats. Now I do have some little trap stuff on there, but it's not overkill. Like, I still wanted to be in my element and do what I do well. So it was definitely a thought. And as far as an album, absolutely. I mean, we have more songs for the album, but I cut them. If when I was getting ready to submit my final, this is it, these are the songs, these are going up, because I couldn't take them back after I did it. I sat and listened to the whole thing in its entirety, and I was like, if this doesn't make me feel like Never Say Never by Brandy or What's the 411 by Mary J. Blige, if I can't listen to it from start to finish and feel something, then I'm cutting the song. So I cut songs. I'm talking about right before I pressed send, I cut certain songs. And not that they weren't good songs, but they just didn't mesh the way that I wanted them to. But I was very much interested in it being a body of work and not just a bunch of songs thrown together. I wanted it to be a full album. I even had physical copies pressed up. A lot of people don't do that anymore. I did liner notes. I did, thank yous within the album. And I only ordered like a select few, but I wanted to have that because I know what it used to feel like when I would go to the store and buy an album and rip the wrapping off. I used to read the liner notes and see who engineered and who did the background vocals, who wrote it, because I was interested. I'm a student of music, so it's not just, hey, I just want to get up there and rock the mic and make a couple of that. It's like, I want to know who's doing this and how do I learn about this person? How do I do what they're doing, but in my way? So I was very, very particular about that, and I'm pleased.
So the process, because I know, and I'm actually glad that I have you in studio at the time when your promotional tour and everything has winded down, so that we can talk comfortably.
Sure.
Because I know that you've gone through the whole presser and the whirlwinds and interviewed at this station and going from this station to this venue, performing at this venue. Tell our listeners, because this is the part that I think that people who want to get in the industry or break through the industry don't know. They don't know how much work. And then by you doing everything, let everyone know how difficult it is to create the album, promote the album, go here, go there, get in this big old whirlwind and still keep your sanity.
Oh my gosh, it's definitely not easy. It's the one thing that I say is it does not matter. People equate music to being this big ball of creativity that has no boundaries, no responsibilities. You can just do whatever. It's a slight element to that, but I mean, if you really want to make a living off of what you're doing, if you really want to be successful and have longevity and not just 20,000 hits and then nobody knows you, if you really want to do that, I haven't even reached that level, so I'm not speaking from what I've personally experienced yet. I'm speaking from the people I've studied, the Beyoncés and the Smokey Robinsons and all. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it also depends on how you enter an industry. So I didn't come in as like this artist who got signed to a label and it was a manager that's been around for 20 years that took me under and sent me to Paris to do my some of this we're learning as we go. Some of it we already knew from studying and doing our research and being on point. But my team, I have such a great team around me, and it's still a lot of work, and it's still so hard to keep your sanity. And sometimes I haven't hit I just want to give up, but I definitely have said, like, I need a break. So, even right now, it's funny you said the die down. So for us, we're shooting a video tomorrow. Okay. I have a show the following week, and then I have a show 2 weeks after that. That is a slow month for us.
Yes.
And we purposely set it up that way because we have to go through the ebbs and flows and kind of, okay, we did this for 6 months, now we need a break to regroup. Not only to regroup, but to look at old footage, see what we did wrong, how can we fix it, how do we update our show. In February, I'm not going to say who yet because I'm not supposed to, but I'm opening up for a huge act at the Fillmore again. So the same show that I did when I opened for Tiana Taylor, need to change that.
Right.
You need time to be able to do that. However, we still set it up so that there are still things going on. You know, Titan Arts Awards, like that's going to happen in that downtime. But we've done the work to get there. So.
Right. So are you performing? By the way, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We both have been nominated.
Yes,
the Titan
we have.
Radio Network has
Yes.
been nominated, and you have been nominated for Female Artist of the Year, correct?
Female artist and breakout artist.
Female Artist and breakout.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I really, you know what's funny? I really want breakout artists more than anything because, first of all, the categories, I mean, they're dope people. It's, in the female artists, it's Kim Scott, Risa, and it was another girl. She's so dope. I cannot think of her name. So the category for female artists is awesome. That would be like an honor, especially because I'm so new. But I really want breakout artists because, to be honest with you, personally, I'm like, as a new artist, I did break out. Like, I've been doing this for a while, but technically, Patrice Live has only been out for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So to have done so much, that really would be an honor to me. It's kind of like getting Best New Artist at the Grammys.
So, this is where I'm going to talk a little bit about your personality.
Okay.
Are you OCD, or do you have like this thing? Because for those of you who do not know, you have a fantastic web series called Wonder Woman, and it was a great 4-part web series. It opened up a lot, which is another reason why I wanted to do this interview with you as well, because I feel like people needed to know more of that. But there's some things that you do, or that you talk about to your team. You're really hard on your team.
Because I'm 20 times harder on myself. So to answer your question, I do have like a little bit of OCD, but it's only in select areas. So I'll give you an example. Like, my house is like going to be in tip-top shape, and then you know how you have that junk drawer. I remember I was watching Friends, and the girl on there that was like OCD, she had like a closet with like all this crap in there that was like, and they were like, oh my gosh, you know, not knowing you and seeing you have it all together, we would have never guessed this. That's me, because literally, like, my house can be in tip-top shape and my closet will be a mess, because by the time I get to it, I'm just exhausted. And that's kind of how it is too with my team. Like, I'm really particular about some things, and then other things I'm like, it's cool, whatever. You know, I would say it's sort of a balance, but it's just really 2 extremes of crazy.
Tell me the one thing that you are hardest on your team about.
I'm trying to think of one thing. More than one. But
give me the hardest. We're gonna break it down a little bit.
I think just in general how we present ourselves, like specifically in performance. I think that that's one of my strengths as an artist, my energy and performance. So I'm real particular, like if it's an event that won't allow us to like do the full Patrice Live show, then are we really going to do that? You know what I mean? Like, no, we you know, because we've made concessions in the past and they haven't always worked in our favor. You know, sometimes we find a balance of like, well, I want to promote myself at any opportunity, but then every opportunity is not for you.
Right.
So I think I'm really particular about getting the details about shows so that I can make a solid decision to say, no, this show, even though it sounds good, it's at this place and it pays this much money, like if they're trying to make me into something else, then maybe it's not an opportunity. So I think maybe that. And being on time. Because I used to be really bad with time. So I used to be late all the time. I used to be, it wasn't even on purpose. It was just I was doing too much and I would never make room for me to like instead of saying, okay, it takes 20 minutes to get down the street, I would like bank it right at 20 minutes and go when it's an accident, you're like, oh shoot, I'm late. Now, time, of course, time is money. Time is money. Time is money. But also I want to be respectful to the people who are supporting me, like you. To be late to an interview with you would be disrespectful to you, even though the network is not 105.1 Breakfast Club, whatever, yet.
Right. Yet.
It's, to me, it's disrespectful to you for you to take your time to want to talk to me. You don't even know me, you know, like, and I'm late. So I'm really, as I went from one extreme to the other. I used to be like, oh, we'll get there, it's fine, let's chill out. To like, no, we need to be on time. We need to be early. We need to be 7 hours early. So, yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I know you take a lot of pride in your performance.
Sure.
You know, you rehearse consistently. Your choreographer. When we were before we doing the lead-in for the show, we were listening to Catwalk, and in your head you were doing. Were you doing steps in your head?
I was. Grace is so dope. So we had like 1 degree of separation. We ended up knowing a lot of the same people, but when we met, we like clicked instantly. I consider her a friend now. We've known each other for now over a year. I was real particular about who was going to choreograph because I wasn't like trying to be Sierra, but I knew I wanted to do movements that matched what we were doing. We actually came up with a name for the type of choreography because she's really a technical person, but she also gives room for sort of creativity. Like when we're rehearsing, sometimes she's like, okay, Patrice, you need to learn this, and then you need to do Patrice. And we know do Patrice is like me wilding out and doing what I do. For her, I'm like, but I want you to contain me just a little bit because I don't want it to be all over the place. Being from DC, like, you know, live bands and live performance is huge. I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted to be able to pop out of that and jump into the crowd and do things that I've done before, but I also wanted to be an experience and a show. Like it's not a gig.